Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Wolf and today I'm gonna make another video of 60 seconds Reatomized, since y'all liked it so much. Back to scavenging for supplies and riding out the apocalypse for as long as I can. But before I punish myself again, I want to remind you guys to smash those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the video and want to help me and the channel. Let's get to it. Alright, here we go. 60 seconds. Give me that med pack. Give me a soup. Yeah, perfect. Get out of my way. Get the kid. Get one soup. Into the bunker you go. Get this kid. What else? What else? What else? What is that? Water. Take that. Gas mask. Got it. Into the bunker. Where's the wife? Oh no. Where's the wife? Come here. Soup. More water. Got it. Gosh darn it. Get in there. Where's the dang radio? Oh no. I'm screwed. There it was. Well, I guess this is the end of the episode, huh? Just kidding. Alright. I am ready. I'm so ready. Alright, water. Med pack. Soup. Into the hole. The kid. Axe. Into the hole. My gun. Where's the radio? It's not here. Put the gun over there. You, get over here. Gosh darn it. Soup. Soup. I could have gotten more soup. I'm stupid. Where's the woman? Bottle of water. Another bottle of water. No, that's soup. Damn it. What am I missing? Where's the freaking radio? I don't have a freaking radio. No! I made it. But I'm screwed. Oh boy, here we go. Day 1. All of us made it into the shelter just a second before the blast. That was a close one. As long as we're all together, we can make it work down here. Remember, hearing canned soup is healthy for you. We can remember bringing those supplies down to the shelter, but we're not complaining. We probably should have stocked it better anyway. +1 bullets, okay. Our shelves are full of cans. We'll eat from cans, we'll sleep on cans, we will talk to cans. Some of us already do. There's just barely enough water for everyone. We will have to ration it strictly. Well, it's the first day, so they're all fine. Being safe down here is much better than being pulverized out there. But that doesn't mean we don't want to go outside. Maybe we could take a walk soon. The neighborhood is probably much more peaceful since the bombings. You don't say. With everybody being dead, I guess. Day 2. Hopefully the time to leave will come soon. What do you mean? It's barely the second day. Ted is not complaining. Jane is feeling safe. Life is hard for all of us right now. Dolores is in a good mood. And Timmy is making the best out of the situation. Good. So they're not thirsty, they're not hungry. Perfect. Ted is in a really good shape for a trip. Well, somebody's gonna go on a trip. Spiders seem to be operating under the assumption that they all have the same rights to this shelter as we do. They're everywhere and don't seem very scared of us. It's time we change that. We don't want any more spiders in our soup, no sir. Well, unfortunately, we do want spiders in our soup. I'm not gonna waste a med pack for that. No, 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 no. Wait, what do you... I don't even have a med pack. Well, this was unexpected. She turned into the Incredible Hulk again. But why? Just because of spiders? Okay, day 3. We decided we'd get rid of those spiders with our bare hands, feet, or whatever other body parts we could use for lethal anti-spider attacks. Unfortunately, we've underestimated their chances. They're really fast. All we achieved was getting tired. Maybe we'll have more luck next time. During our vicious fight with dozens of spiders, one got lucky and bit Mary Jane. Oh, okay, so Mary Jane got bit by a spider and she turned into the Purple Hulk. Cool. It didn't seem serious, but when we got up this morning, she was different. Okay. Ted's thirsty. Well, actually, I think everybody's thirsty. Except Mary Jane, who doesn't need anything. Cool. Water, water, water. That's it. Well, now we're gonna take Mary Jane outside since nothing can kill her anymore. There you go. Day 4. Mary Jane went outside. Let's hope she hurries back soon. And everybody else is fine. We've always wanted to throw a party with a huge cake. For some reason it never worked. One time we were promised a great cake and it turned out it was just a lie. That was a disappointment. We weren't glad. We're definitely getting a cake when the radioactive clouds are gone. Okay. Day 5. We can make it work, even in Toronto. Question is, how do we find a boat to get there? We heard that's the best way to get to Europe. Ted says there's no need to worry about him, he's okay. Dolores has been fine. And Timmy's being very brave. After all the days we spent down here, we're not exactly clean. We smell bad, real bad. It didn't bother us until we noticed it. And now we're about to get sick. So why not take a shower? We don't have soap. There are other alternatives to consider. Okay, let's try to use the gas mask. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If we can survive just a little bit longer, dirty ears shouldn't be much of a problem. Just to be sure, dibs on the gas mask. Ted needs water, Dolores, and Timmy. Okay, they all need water. We've discussed everything we could and no one is willing to chat anymore. The silence is really disturbing. We should do something before we start talking to ourselves instead. If I'm gonna go on a loop again with that friggin' radio, I swear to God. Day 7. There's nothing here. Maybe if we try really hard, we can hear the neighbors in their shelter. Ted is just tired and no longer thirsty. Dolores is tired and Timmy's tired. And Dolores and Timmy need some soup. Yeah. We were discussing plans for our first meal that didn't feature tomato soup when we heard yells outside. We discovered they came from a small group of ragged survivors. They were a sorry sight and we weren't surprised when they requested aid. They asked us to provide anything we could, water, food, or even medical supplies. Well, you can have some soup. There you go. Day 8. Oh, guess who's back? Our visitors were in tears when we gave them what they asked for. We survived the nuclear apocalypse only to be nearly strangled by thankful refugees. Hugs can kill, you know. Luckily for us, they decided to continue on their journey to get somewhere safe before sunset. As they were about to leave, one of them presented us with a portable radio. They would not take no for an answer and soon left, waving goodbye until they disappeared amongst the rubble. So I did get a radio after all. Nothing made us happier than the sight of Mary Jane returning to the shelter from the surface. She's trying to say something, but you know. So she has 1 can of soup and 2 bottles of water. 2 bottles of water. Okay, Ted's still tired and hungry. And Mary Jane's hungry. Okay. Food for Ted and Mary Jane. The wasteland is no match for Mary Jane, so she's gonna go out again. Every new smell attacks our noses in this little shelter instantly. There isn't much we can miss, so when a single brick fell out from the wall, revealing a tight opening, our senses were immediately invaded by a terrible stench. We should probably check that hole out and see what the source of the smell is. Yes, we should. Let's check it out. Day 9. We approached the hole cautiously and peeked inside. What happened next nearly gave us a heart attack. Some crazed rodent or reptile or whatever this crazy mad creature was leaped out and started jumping all over the damn shelter. It was everywhere. We couldn't catch it. Before we could do anything, it pushed our radio off the table and went back in the hole it crawled from. It messed up my radio, really? We never saw it again. Ted is still mighty tired. God, I can't believe it messed with my radio. Great. One hungry one. We need to make a choice for today's expedition. Well, we all know the obvious choice. Let's go, Mary Jane. Day 10. We woke up to a dripping sound today and noticed there's something leaking from the pipes. That green liquid looked innocent enough even after it ate through the table, and the chair, and the floor. Patching up that pipe is probably a good idea. Well, we got the gas mask. Let's try that. Patching the pipe with the gas mask. Makes sense. Day 11. Problem solved. No leak, no mess. Back to our tidy little shelter. Ted is still... Everybody's tired. Like, okay. Dolores is hungry. And Timmy is hungry. Problem solved. As long as we have food and water, we can stay locked in, but we'll have to leave eventually. It would be good to head straight to safety instead of getting ourselves into more trouble. That's even possible in this situation. Our hope is that our brave soldiers will come to rescue us and take us to some well-hidden, well-stocked government shelter. Timmy had comics about this, so you know they must exist. All we need to do is make contact with the military. Well, somebody busted my radio. Day 12. If there's one thing we need to do, it's to use a radio on a regular basis, okay? To catch any emergency broadcasts that might be transmitted in our area. It's either that, or it's strolling around outside waiting to get picked up. The first option sounds a bit more sane. Ring, ring. There we were, thinking we would never hear a telephone signal again, when suddenly a phone starts ringing from somewhere outside. We figured it's the phone booth across the street. Should someone go answer it? Damn right, Ted's gonna go answer it. When we answered the phone, We could clearly hear a gasp of relief from the caller. They introduced themselves as survivors from a nearby town of Hill Valley. We had started exchanging information when the call was cut short. Something must have gone wrong on their side. We hope they will get back to us. One of the cub birds in the shelter was a bit shaky, so we pulled it out to give it a new home. In the process, we discovered a secret door. Where does it lead? No idea, but let's find out. Let's take that flashlight with us. We inspected every corner of the room and found nothing. Well, that was a waste of time. Ted has rested. Timmy has rested. Life is hard for all of us right now, but Dolores is in a good mood today. We hope it'll stay this way. It's been a while. We don't know much about what's happening on the surface. If we only had a chance to tune in into some emergency radio broadcast and learn a thing or two. Well, that spider busted my radio, so... Day 15. Mary Jane's back. Well, what used to be Mary Jane. They say ignorance is bliss. Another day without any clue what's going on might not necessarily kill us. Nothing made us happier than the sight of Mary Jane returning to the shelter from the surface. Again, she's trying to say something, but she did bring 2 bottles of water. Hear that? Noises coming from below. This is probably the right time to check out the manhole in the corner. The one that's been locked tight ever since we got to the shelter. Guess it's time to use the axe. Day 16. Amazing. We had a pirate cave right under our house. It was filled with treasures of sorts. Too bad we only had time to grab a map before the place collapsed. Luckily, it didn't have any impact on our shelter. So I got a map. Who's gonna go outside? Let's take Ted this time. What to take outside? The gun. Let's spice it up, make it interesting. We know nothing can kill Mary Jane, so... Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. A few more hours of coughing and we'll get used to it. Our ventilation fans have halted, and no fresh air seems to be circulating through the shelter. We have to fix it before we suffocate like rats trapped by a professional and very cruel rat catcher. Let's go with the flashlight, since it's the only option anyway. Day 18. The obvious thing to do when a vent is blocked is to check what's blocking it. You don't say. However, when you shine your flashlight on a hive of mutated insects, things usually go from bad to worse. The angry hive is gone, but the insects did some biting before they fled. Mary Jane is no longer hungry. Really? That's a first. There has to be some water left. Dolores should get it. Timmy got hurt. How about getting Timmy something to drink? Okay, so water for Timmy, water for Dolores, and a med pack for Timmy. Problem solved. We can keep sitting on our backsides here in this tiny little bunker. We can start thinking about getting away as far as possible from this radioactive wasteland. Who would have thought the Reds would ruin such a lovely neighborhood? We could do it on our own. The escaping part, not the ruining part, of course. However, there might be someone out there who can help us. Let's keep our eyes and ears open with the broken radio. Day 19. Oh no, the radio again. Our family has been stuck down here for a while now, and we are very worried this might have an adverse effect on Timmy's education. Can he even read anymore? Up there, he at least consumed a comic book or two a week. Now there's nothing. We need to give him something to read. There's nothing. I don't have anything. Timmy's just gonna get stupider. Day 20. We don't need no education. It's the new world and schooling won't make any difference. It's all about who owns the most cans now. 1 can, 2 cans, 5 cans. Ain't that the truth? Mutated rodents are attacking our supplies. We're not sure if they're rats, feral bunnies, or just mutated hamsters. All of these options are pretty grim. We could use spare ammunition or something else to get rid of every one of these pests. Day 21. Our cans are saved. Too bad for the hairy mutant. Guess we're still top of the food chain. Good for us. If there's one person we truly miss, it's our great Uncle Terry. He used to tell brilliant stories about turtles, elephants, and wizards. It would be so reassuring to hear one of these stories again. And yet, we don't even have a photo of him, just memories. Day 22. And so, we're left with no photos, no news, and no happy thoughts. The world is too cruel. This morning we were surprised to find a letter on our doorstep. It was not signed and it contained a location and a time for a meeting tonight. And a few sentences. It said things like, we're friendly, come unarmed, send 1 person. We have no idea who could have sent that, but we're guessing this is our one chance to find out. Are we sending someone? We can send Mary Jane since nothing can kill her. Oh look, Ted's back. You're looking dapper, buddy. It's true, it's all true. There really are others just like us. We arrived at the rendezvous, unarmed and on time, and we were greeted by a friendly-looking group of survivors. They were being led by twins, a brother and a sister, who seemed to be friendly enough. They asked us some questions and promised to stay in touch. Ted has safely returned from his voyage to the surface. We used to visit our local cinema so often that we could travel there blindfolded. It wasn't that surprising when this was where our feet took us, almost without involving our brains in the process. The cinema had a strict policy of not bringing your own drinks into the movie hall. Seems like somebody broke the rules a little. We found a lot of bottles in the last row of the hall. Some were even full. The only thing left of that ticket booth is the door with a padlock on it. Security here must have been questionable. Someone forgot to take the key out. So I got water, a lock, and some playing cards. Under one of the seats, we found a deck of cards. It must have been a really boring movie if someone felt they needed to bring a game to the screening. At breakfast, we had a knock on our door. It was a man with a rather excessive number of arms. He had told us his group was having a hard time finding supplies. Wherever they'd go, they got shot at first sight and asked questions later. It's probably because of their appearance. The friendly mutant presented us with an offer. In exchange for some supplies, his folk would escort us on our next expedition and make sure we come back home safely. Alright, let's give him some water. Day 24. The stranger quickly became a friend when we agreed to his terms. It doesn't cost us that much, and we will sleep easier knowing that we will come back safely from our next trip to the surface. Hungry and thirsty, hungry and thirsty, hungry and thirsty. Oh no. I'm out of soup. Well, Ted, sorry, buddy. We need to make a choice for today's expedition. You know what, since I'm getting escorted, might as well give the food head. We're gonna send Dolores with the gun or the gas mask. Let's try the gas mask. Day 25. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Well, no food, guys, sorry. And again with the radio. Day 26. It's happening again, isn't it? It's the radio thing happening again. A sleazy looking trader wants some food, but I ain't got no food. Day 27. I think this might be the end, folks. Our grandparents always told us to never buy anything on sight. Okay, yeah, this is because I didn't give that stranger the food, right? Trader alert. Timmy's salvaged comic books are mostly harmless science fiction pulp. However, some of them don't feature the brave Astro Citizen program astronauts, but cosmonauts. That boy is eating up Soviet propaganda. What a disgrace. Should we banish Timmy to the wasteland for his traitorous ways and dispose of this blasphemous comics? I mean, no. I thought he didn't have any comics. Now he does. We graciously allowed Timmy to stay in the shelter despite his actions. We believe in the power of rehabilitation and second chances. Also, we're running out of toilet paper, and these propaganda books will do nicely. You would expect the post-apocalypse to be a time of peace and quiet since, you know, most of the people aren't around anymore. Yet here we have someone at the door. When we open it up, we encounter a strange-looking man in a blue jumpsuit who asked us to trade him a water chip. A water chip? What in the hell is that? Let's just give him a bottle of water. The visitor wasn't very happy that we didn't have a water chip, or that we didn't know what that was. He did help himself to the water we offered him, and explained the chip is of utmost importance. Before we learned anything more, he left for the wasteland. So he didn't give me anything. That's great. Mary Jane is starving. She needs some food today or else. Timmy's also hungry, but I don't have any soup. A radio, okay. Someone paid us a visit today. It was an overly cheerful, red-headed woman, accompanied by a grumpy-looking mercenary type, who was probably her guard. She told us she was a trader, and eagerly showed us the items she brought along. So if I give her the flashlight, I'm gonna get a radio. Cool, let's do it. Day 30. We managed to work out a deal. The woman also gave us some tips about surviving in the wasteland, but her advice seems pretty useless. We already know that radiation is dangerous and that hitting a rat with a stick will eventually kill it. We thanked her and said our goodbyes. It's difficult to keep our spirits up in this situation. We do hope this whole mess will be over soon, or else we might end up in a place much worse than this cozy shelter. Uh-oh. Day 31. Some mornings we feel a bit hopeless, and we need to pull ourselves together and be more optimistic. The army can't be far. Timmy is hungry. Ted looks very weak, so obviously yes, he's hungry. We couldn't spare any food for Mary Jane, and eventually she reached a boiling point where her stare was enough to kill. She left without a word. But we knew she would probably become a highway woman and get all the food cans she would ever need. Finally, I can use the radio. If there's anyone who can rescue us from this hellish situation, it's our government. You can badmouth them all you want, but that probably means you're either a naysayer or a commie. We're good citizens. We've been paying our taxes regularly. So, We're sure Uncle Sam is coming to get us. Well, except that one time when we... Never mind. The government people are coming, and we should keep our ears and eyes open for any sign from them. Day 32. We knew it. The government has not fallen, and they're coming to save us. They didn't give exact dates in their radio transmission, but we're sure they won't keep us waiting long. They said they will be in touch in a couple of days and told us to await further instructions. We were glad to see Dolores come back safely from the wasteland. The friendly mutant group lent us a hand as promised. We felt much safer with them around, and everybody made it back without a scratch. We hope we'll get the chance to meet that group again. We were not alone outside the shelter. At first, it seemed like the creature stalking us was about to get itself a tasty dinner. To our relief, it turned out to be a friendly monkey. He joined our expedition. While we were exploring one of the streets, our monkey companion ran away, only to come back moments later carrying a can of food. It couldn't open it himself, but it was happy to share it with us. At one point during our expedition, the monkey started making weird sounds and digging in front of us with a stick. A quick investigation revealed a few bottles of water. No one even tried to open them. The same couldn't be said about those bottles of booze lying next to them. So, +1 water, +2 food. Damn it, our gas mask was damaged during the expedition. -1 gas mask. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. We spotted some sort of vehicle just down the street but couldn't get a good enough look at it in the dark. Maybe future expeditions will prove more fruitful. Ted looks very weak. If it doesn't eat today, it might really end badly. Dolores is hungry, tired, and pretty fatigued. Timmy needs food today or never. Alright. Food and water for everybody. Celebrating. Another expedition, this time with Ted. The twin siblings have paid us a visit, asking if we have a map of our town and the shelter. Their group is becoming bigger every day, and they're slowly running out of space in their tents, so now they're traveling through the city looking for a good spot to make a camp. Sure, I got a map. There you go. Day 33. We were happy to see them again. We quickly handed them our map and pointed out several locations that might be worth checking out. They left before it got dark to still get a few hours of scouting in daylight, but they said they would definitely be back again to share some news and a friendly chat. We hope they find a good place. Maybe we could visit them when the camp is ready. Ted looks very weak. If he doesn't eat today... What do you mean? I gave him food yesterday. Dolores is also hungry. And Timmy's also hungry. Okay, if you're so hungry, have some food. Some of us are keener to go outside than others. Yeah, Ted's gonna go outside. And I didn't give him anything to take with him because I'm stupid. Day 34. Our patient is wearing thin. We thought it would be a good idea to take a quick look outside to see if there's any trouble in the area. As we were about to step out, a pair of animal eyes flashed in the darkness, and their owners started growling in a most terrifying way. We only had moments to decide what to do. Well, we got a gun. Day 35. A quick shot with the rifle was more than enough to scare away or maybe bring down whatever creature stalked us in the darkness. We never saw it again. We had the most curious visitors today. One of them was making the sound of a galloping horse, using a pair of rocks and hitting them against each other, while his companion was pretending to ride said horse. They claimed to be on a very important quest to seek some magical cup, only they lost their way in the wasteland. They asked permission to have a quick look at our map to determine their whereabouts. These guys sound crazy. So why not? I mean, crazy people, you know? Let's give them the map. Show them where they are. Day 36. We were way too impressed with their medieval outfits to decline, so we showed them our map and pointed out the location of our site, of our shelter, sorry. They quickly found their bearings and rewarded our kindness with a set of checkers, then swiftly ran off. We hope they find what they're looking for. So we got checkers now. Timmy and Dolores are no longer thirsty. We've been hearing strange noises lately. Is it coming from the outside, or is it something that came into the shelter with us? Could it be? We found nothing. We felt like we might be going crazy. We should probably get busy with something to keep us occupied before things get worse. Checkers it is. Day 37. Having some fun made us forget about, what was it again? Last time we went out on an expedition, we noticed an abandoned tank just sitting there out in the open. It looks damaged, but may contain useful supplies. Shall we send someone to investigate? Dolores, you're up. Day 38. Looks like army rations also consist mostly of canned tomato soup and bottled water. Unless someone else left those supplies in the wrecked tank. Timmy's very hungry and thirsty. And Dolores is hungry and thirsty as well. Today during breakfast we were startled when our map slid off the wall. We checked the nails holding it, but they were all firmly in place. Could be a poltergeist. Maybe we need to perform an exorcism to get rid of it. Anyway, in the wall behind the map we discovered some sort of safe. We're curious as to what treasure might be inside. Should we open it? Hell yeah. Day 39. Ted, you're not looking so good, buddy. Are you okay? We're not sure how or why the map just decided to slide off the wall, but we're lucky that it happened. Inside the dusty safe, we found some supplies, a harmonica. Ted has returned. We decided to finally check what we can find between the rubble in our own backyard. Our poor lawns and flowers. Once the object of desire of the whole neighborhood, now reduced to nothing more than radioactive ashes, covered by debris. There really isn't much left here. The only tree that's left is completely burned out. In a hollow area inside the dead husk, some mutated three-tailed squirrels made their home. They're pretty good at collecting stuff. Hopefully they don't mind us borrowing a few things. 2 cans of soup. We used to barbecue here almost every weekend. The barbecue itself somehow found its way onto the power line in front of our house, and it's unreachable. Our garden table is mostly destroyed. Under bits and pieces of charred wood, we found a few things that could prove useful. A flashlight, and that's about it. The garage still has 2 walls left, but most things inside are gone. Not even the bicycles made it through the blast, but weirdly enough, baskets installed on top of them did. We found some leftover supplies there from our last bicycle trip, 2 water. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. The vehicle down the street looked like someone's work in progress. We observed it from afar. Who could the owner be? We've kept our distance for the time being, but we may want to take a closer look in the future. This could potentially be our ticket out of here. Ted is hungry, really tired, and he got sick. Dolores is fine, and Timmy is fine. Life in the shelter can really put a strain on personal relationships. Privacy is a forgotten, impossible concept now. So even if you wanted to clear the air, well, even the most private conversations are guaranteed an unwanted audience. Dolores and Ted could really use a quiet moment to talk in peace. How about a picnic in a nearby park? What? No. Here we go again. Day 40. They're adults. Surely they can handle their emotions just fine, right? Let's keep an eye on them though, just in case they try to murder each other and blame it on sleepwalking. Dolores is going to go outside and she's going to take the rifle. Day 41. We received another transmission from the army. They'll be doing a quick sweep of the area and asked all survivors to leave markings at the nearest bus stop to indicate they're around. The markings are to be made with cards. Guess we won't be able to play poker, but if that gets us rescued, then we can probably make that sacrifice. And I got cards. Lucky me. Day 42. The cards are in place. All we need to do is wait for the army to pinpoint our location. That shouldn't take long, we hope. Our help is needed yet again. The siblings came by today to share some latest news. The good news, the camp is ready. The bad news, while building it, they overlooked a nest of mutated cockroaches nearby. They're afraid these roaches might be territorial and aggressive, so they're looking for some means to get rid of them. Well, we got an axe. Day 43. We gave the group just what they needed to get rid of the unwanted housemates. The insects are gone and their nest was destroyed, so they will need to find another campsite to settle in. Hopefully they will choose a bandit camp instead of bothering decent wastelanders like our friends. That radio of ours has been silent for the past few hours. We need our news, we need our music. We all agree on that. And if it's refusing to cooperate, we need to meddle with it until it works. No, we're not busting up the radio again. We're sure they're experiencing technical issues. Yeah, that's it. Everything will be just fine. When emptying our bucket in front of the shelter, we discovered a hastily drawn map on one of the ruined walls. Someone drew out a route and marked a spot at the end of it. Maybe there are supplies hidden there. Should we check it out? I don't think we should, no. I really don't think we should. Day 45. We're not going to run around like Knights of the Round Table following some madman scribbles on the wall. Damn right. The world is crazy enough as it is. It is. When we opened the bunker door this morning to let in some fresh radioactive air, we discovered a small suitcase on our doorstep. There was no note on it, and the neighborhood seemed empty. Should we take a look inside? No. I'm paranoid, what can I say? I am paranoid. Day 46. It's pretty simple. If we don't know where it comes from, we cannot trust it. There's no way we're taking this gift. We left it outside, maybe some cockroach will want it. The kind of cockroach that enjoys ties, an occasional cigar, and of course, leather suitcases. Ted's thirsty and Timmy's hungry. A sleazy looking trader carrying a scrap. Okay, we've read this before. He wants some soup and we'll give him some soup. Let's see, what's inside the mysterious bag? As soon as the door closed behind the trader, the bag started to violently shake, emitting screeching, hellish sounds. Terrified, we backed up against the walls. When the beast finally escaped, it turned out to be just an angry house cat. The feline gave us a menacing look and promptly sat down in the corner to clean itself. Its collar says Sharikov. Is that its name? -1 soup. Dolores came back. None of the burned down buildings looked very inviting, but after some exploring, running away from mutated spider crabs or whatever those things were, we ended up finding a bar. For some reason it survived the blast and its neon sign was still working, except of course for the letter A. Who would have known that tomato soup used to be such a popular snack in a bar? We found a few cans and took them with us. We didn't expect to find any clean water in the bar, and we weren't wrong. Whatever we found wasn't pure and it wasn't water, but hey, if it quenches thirst, it counts. We believe that our expedition to the wasteland must have been followed by strangers. We should be more cautious next time. Today was an exciting day for Ted. All of a sudden, he found car keys in his back pocket. Has been sitting on them this whole time? Anyway, it got him reminiscing about his favorite automobile, and now he's worried about it being parked up for too long. Something tells us it's the last of its trouble at the moment, but Ted seems really eager to go out and turn the engine over. No. Day 48. Hey there, kitty. Yeah. Come on, Ted. Give it a rest. We can't even remember where it was popped before the blast. And even if we found out, what are the odds that it's still working? Forget it. Our shiny, beautiful car is probably just a bunch of molten junk in a ditch somewhere. Expedition time. We had some spare ammunition, but now it's gone. We don't know how or when. It must have been misplaced. We need to find it, and soon. Well, we got a flashlight. Day 49. We found the ammunition. I am out of soup, which is very bad. And Ted's gonna go outside with the rifle. Hey there, kitty. While trying to pet the little devil, we found a piece of paper on its collar with an address scribbled on it. Could its previous owners still be around and worried sick? Chances are slim, but maybe we should pay them a visit, or at least whatever's left of them. Sure, why not? Day 51. We grabbed our new fluffy friend for a little stroll through the wastes, only to immediately run into a couple of gentlemen dressed in trench coats, fedoras, and shades. They gritted their teeth at the sight of the cat and said they'd been looking for it. Apparently it belongs to their dear old Nan, who loves it dearly. Before we could utter a word, they took Sharikov, thanked us, and left. The cat didn't seem to mind, so maybe it's for the best. We were afraid the army wouldn't get back to us, but they eventually did. The next transmission was full of evacuation promises, but it ended on a big if. The speaker requested that any survivor groups armed with firearms should dispose of them before they get rescued. We don't know what this is about, but it sounds like violating our rights. On the other hand, are there any laws and rights left? Or is it everyone for themselves? Day 52. And Ted's still not back. Since we didn't have a gun to begin with, soldiers shouldn't have any issues with us because the gun is with Ted. Timmy was never a fan of soup. Okay, he's hungry, and Dolores is no longer thirsty. All hands on deck. There are people on the other side of the door, and they don't seem too friendly. In fact, they've promised us a painful death at least 17 times already. And it's only been 5 minutes since they arrived. We'd better prepare. They'll be forcing that door open any minute now. Well, that's why we have the little padlock. Yeah, I'm going to use the padlock. Hopefully it'll work. Day 53. We didn't think that a small padlock would stop them, but it turned out to be enough to discourage the unknown attackers. It seems that they gave this whole break-in a fair shot, but ultimately gave up and left. Too bad that padlock is in no shape to be used again. We need to think of other ways to fight off the bandits and other soup-hungry barbarians. We were able to fight off the bandits this time, but there's no guarantee they won't come back. We need to be prepared at all times. This bandit camp nearby is causing a lot of trouble. Not only are they armed, dangerous, cruel, and bloodthirsty, they're also loud and obnoxious. We respect their right to party, but not at the cost of our beauty sleep. Something needs to be done. Well, I got a hatchet. Day 54. Hey, the cat's back. We bravely stormed into the camp, screaming insults and threats at the top of our lungs. Sadly, there was no one there to appreciate our courage. It looks like the bandits went raiding and left the camp empty, thinking no one would dare get close to it anyway. But not us. We fearlessly collected whatever we could from their supplies and courageously ran back to the shelter. We think it's the ultimate proof that we're not in danger. We are the danger. Fear us. To our surprise, we found Sharikov back in our shelter this morning. We're not exactly sure why or how it came back. Is it our good care it appreciates, our kind hearts, optimism, or just our stockpile of soup cans? Only time will tell. Curiosity almost killed the cat. Sharikov found a tiny wire sticking out from the ceiling and pulled it out. Plaster and debris fell on our table, topped off with a big meowing furball. What is this thing anyway? Nobody remembers it being there before. The cat might get angry if we take away the wire, so maybe it's best to leave it be. Or should we examine that wire? We're gonna examine it. Day 55. We grabbed the cable and followed it to a rusty old truck parked in our neighbor's driveway. Upon opening the door, we were confronted with two men wearing huge headphones who looked extremely surprised to see us. They wiretapped our shelter when we were asleep, and they were listening to everything we said. We gave them hell and marched back to our bunker. Dolores is starving probably, but she's no longer thirsty. Timmy needs food. If there's one sure way to get our attention, it's definitely banging on our shelter door. Whoever it is, they're quite persistent. They've been at it for the past 5 minutes. Should we open? I mean, at this point. Who is it? The end. We were ecstatic when our friends came over today to officially invite us to their new camp. The siblings said they are incredibly grateful for all the help and assistance we provided. They claimed the whole thing wouldn't be possible without us. They swear they already made a separate house for us, all furnished, and with some of our own supplies. And there are plenty of families waiting to meet us there. We can't wait to be between people again. Maybe the world isn't as bad as it looks. We can't wait to start our new, more peaceful and normal life. Goodbye, little shelter. You have been our home for a long time. But today, it's time to move on and the future is looking really bright. Dolores has been putting on a brave face, but she must be starving. Okay. Timmy's dad needs food and water. We survived for 56 days. Oh wow, I can't believe I won. A new beginning. I did it. Finally did it. I survived. There we go. That's way better than last time, isn't it? Well, folks, what can I tell you? I survived. This marks the end of the episode for the day. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.